I think there's a misconception with freelancers that when you go into business for yourself, you do have to do everything, right? And none of us are good at
Yeah.
everything. I'm not
No,
good at everything. You're not good at everything. No small business
no.
owner, no solopreneur is good at everything, right? I have talked to so many freelancers in the past, 6 months to a year who have brought on virtual assistants and it's changed their life,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe they brought on a virtual assistant to, like you were saying, to help with their invoicing, to give them the confidence to actually charge that, to build their proposals, to build out their client onboarding flow, to, even taking on like their social media and their marketing strategies so they don't have to be like promoting themselves all the time.
Yeah.
And even doing something like that, like bringing on one person to help you part-time for you to delegate some tasks to, that can change your business, that can change your life,
Mm-hmm.
that can free up so much of your time. And I love that you focused on that specifically. Is that is the reason why so many of us cap out on earning potential, is because we simply don't have the time. We don't have the
Mm-hmm.
bandwidth to do
Mm-hmm.
everything. And
Yep.
that's actually something that Andrea and I ran into in our first business. So when we were running our consulting firm, it's called Interimly. And basically all we did is we worked with early stage tech companies and we helped them figure out how to grow after they got their first round of funding. So just go to marketing programs, right? So it's a lot of strategy, but then also getting those like first programs up and running. And when we first launched, it was just the two of us. And I will preface this by saying we were lucky that there was two of us, right? We already
Mm.
had a leg up on a lot of people because we had two networks to tap into. We could take on bigger projects that needed more diverse skill sets because we had both of us, right? It was honestly a really good starting point. But as we started building the business, we capped out on how many clients that we could take on, right? We were taking on
Yeah.
really big projects and we could only really take on, 4 or 5 projects at a time, which was a lot. And that was like our
That's a
max.
lot.
Yeah. And that was like
Yeah. That's a
our,
lot.
our max capacity,
Yeah.
and we started getting really burnt out because we were doing the
Mm-hmm.
strategy, we were doing the execution, we were doing all of the admin work, we were doing everything. At
Mm-hmm.
one point, we took a step back and we're like, okay, we're doing all of this execution work. That's what's really feeling like what's bogging us down. Let's bring on somebody who wants to do that work, right? So we
Yeah.
actually brought on 1 or 2 subcontractors, completely changed our business, right? Helped
Mm-hmm.
us scale to the next level, helped just alleviate burnout, helped us take on more clients, bigger projects, completely changed our business and the way
Yeah.
that the way that we worked. It was awesome.
Totally.
And
Do you want to know the mindset shift that like the biggest mindset shift I ever had in my business that just unlocked like the next levels of growth? It was realizing or just like internalizing that there are people in this world that love the things that I hate.
yes.
Like I hate
Yes.
accounting. I'm not an accountant, right? Like
Mhm.
I hate accounting. I hate all of that. Like I keep an eye on my expenses. Obviously, I run my
Mhm.
business well, but I hate accounting.
Yep.
I actually hate customer success. I really do. Like support. I really hate it. Um, and there are people that freaking love it.
It's funny.
So
We're so
by
aligned. We're
me,
so aligned on that. Those are the things that my business partner Andrea
yeah,
takes on that I stay away
totally.
from. Yes.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, by me keeping on doing it, I'm choosing to be unhappy, right?
Mhm.
Assuming I can afford to like bring someone on to do it, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's step one: learn how to make money. But once you have that, if you have the capability of doing it and you don't do it, you're choosing to be unhappy,
Yep.
and you're also not letting someone else express themselves fully,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
you're being selfish,
I
honestly.
I I
um,
actually love that so
Not
much.
you, obviously, but like anyone not doing, I was being selfish. Let me just put it on me. I was being selfish by not doing that. As soon as I hired someone and I was like, oh, this is what it looks like to work with a professional, like customer support person or something like that. It was just like my world, like my happiness levels just like doubled. It was amazing.
Yeah, and that is I love that point because you do think you're like, oh, I'm giving this person grunt work or I'm giving this person the work that I don't want to
Yeah.
do. And so it kind of
You feel
feels,
bad.
yeah, you feel bad, you feel icky, you kind of feel guilty in some sense, right? But you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Some people love to execute. Like some people love to execute on paid programs. I used to
Mm.
do that for a living. I started my career in, paid and SEM, and I used to love doing that. I don't love doing
Mm-hmm.
it anymore. So bringing on a subcontractor who actually really loves being in AdWords every day and like getting into the nitty gritty, that's wonderful. And I used to love doing that. I don't anymore. They love doing it right now. Perfect. Pull that person in, have them do that work. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, but it's hard to get past that barrier, right? It's hard to
It is.
say, okay, here's like, also, it's hard to isolate the work that you don't like sometimes, because you're doing so many different
Yeah.
things that sometimes when you're
Yeah.
feeling like that burnout and that overwhelm, it's hard to isolate. Okay, here are the things that are actually throwing me off, that are keeping me from
Mm-hmm.
actually enjoying running my business. So I think
Mm-hmm.
figuring that out is obviously the first step.
Totally, totally. Yeah, and it's I really like Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time. I was in his SaaS Academy for a number of years, and so he taught a lot of that over the years. So I credit him with a lot of like my kind of approach to hiring people at this point.
Mhm.
But basically it starts with a time audit where you look at, okay, what are the things that I'm doing for me? For a while there, I just kept a list of the things that I was doing that like I really didn't enjoy.
Mhm.
And then basically once I, had been doing it for long enough, I started kind of seeing patterns, and it was all around like invoicing. It was around following up with sales leads, like actually like following up with sales leads, but it was like, there were things that I'm like, oh, I actually really enjoy that. And then there are things that I'm like, man, I hate that like I'm sitting at dinner and I feel like, and I get pinged on Slack and I feel like I have to reply. Right.
Yep.
And some of that can be solved by like, just don't have Slack notifications. Don't check Slack when you're at dinner with your family.
Setting
But there
boundaries.
are also, but yeah, setting
Yeah.
boundaries, but like there are also some times that like you do need to reply,
Mhm.
but here's the thing. It doesn't have to be you.